think you need 20% down to buy a home in Garland, Texas? That's probably the reason you're still waiting. And that's honestly one of the biggest reasons people delay buying. But that's not actually true. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through what you really need. Real numbers, real expectations. So you can figure out where you stand. I'm Ginger McCallum, a real estate agent here in the Garland, Texas area, and I help buyers understand this step by step so they can move forward with confidence. People think they need 20%. Most buyers don't. That belief delays action. Here's how I break it down for my buyers so it actually makes sense when they're buying a home. There are really 4 main things you need to plan for. First is your down payment. This is usually the biggest surprise. Depending on the loan, you could be looking at around 3% to 5%. There are even some programs that go lower, but most buyers fall somewhere in that range. So right away, that 20% number, it's not the standard. Second is closing costs. This is the one a lot of people don't factor in at all. Closing costs are typically around 2% to 5% of the purchase price. This covers things like your lender's fees, title work, escrow, taxes, insurance setup, all the behind-the-scene pieces that make the transaction happen. Third is earnest money. This comes up when you make an offer. It's basically a deposit that shows the seller you're serious. Usually it's a small percentage of the price, like 1%. And here's the important part. It's not extra. It gets applied towards what you already owe at closing. Fourth is your after-move expenses. This is the one people don't think about until it's too late. Once you get the keys, there are always things that come up. Maybe it's furniture. Maybe it's a small repair. Maybe you just want to make the home feel like yours. It doesn't have to be huge, but you want to plan for it so you're not stretched thin right after closing. Let me show you what this actually looks like in real numbers. Say you're buying a $300,000 home somewhere around Garland, Rowlett, Wylie, Sachse, or Murphy. That's a pretty common price point in this area. If you're putting, say, 3% to 5% down and then factoring in closing costs, you're typically looking at somewhere in the range of $15,000 to $30,000 total. Now, that's a range for a reason. It can change depending on your loan, negotiations, seller concessions, things like that. But this gives you a much clearer picture than just guessing or assuming you need 20%. Here's where people get into trouble. Some buyers overestimate what they need. They think they need way more money than they actually do. And while they're waiting, prices change, rates change, and opportunities pass them by. On the other side, some people underestimate. They don't fully understand the costs going in. And then the process feels stressful because everything hits at once. Both situations come from the same issue. They don't have a clear number. I see both of these situations all the time with buyers in Garland and the surrounding areas. What actually helps is getting your number, not a general estimate, not something you heard from a friend, not something you saw online. Your number based on your situation. Once you have that, everything gets a lot simpler. You know what you're working towards. You know if you're ready now or what needs to happen next. This is exactly what I help buyers do through my Confident Move method. Getting clarity before you start so you can make confident decisions. If you want to know your actual numbers, I'll walk you through it step by step so you can see exactly where you stand.